Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to Building Geonosis in LEGO. This has been a big ongoing series on my channel where I obviously have been taking a big break here. Just life's been a bit crazy with getting married recently and all sorts of stuff, but we are back today with a major update of this series of the mock based off the first battle Geonosis from Attack of the Clones with many other aspects like Battlefront, Public Commando, whole bunch of inspirations on it. But today I'm going to be showing you a bunch of the progress I've made over the past 2 months, as well as the idea and the concept of exactly where we're going to go in with this mock moving forward, and where you're going to be able to see this in person in the next couple months, because I'm going to take a version of this to a convention here soon. We have lots of fun stuff in this episode because this mock is getting absolutely massive, but let's get into the progress.
So my goal for the rest of this mock is to complete 10 more base plates of this section at least. And it's going to be much bigger than that when it's all said and done. So we're going to be building the mock going forward a bit and then backwards a bit. But let's focus on this first front section. Now this first front section, I want to be based off of a little hill section we do see in Attack of the Clones in one of the quick shots in the battle scene. I'll show you exactly what I want it based off of here. So I began placing a bunch of different 16 by 16 plates, given different heights and layering across the different plates here to get an idea of how exactly I want to sculpt the hill, and as well I want little trenches inside as well, because in Battlefront 2 there's a bunch of different trenches in the battlefield section, so I want to definitely start to include more trenches, more caverns, more cool little aspects in the terrain, since we're moving forward and getting more into the center of the battlefield as we move forward in this mock, which I'm quite excited about. As you can see, I've laid out the majority of the plates. This is how I kind of like to build, where I can add different leveling and terrain as I go and have a basic idea of how high I want everything to look. I also built the border for the dark orange pieces there, and have a little lower section right here, which you might think like, well, it's kind of weird, there's a little indention like it's a deep trench, but this is actually based off of the OG Battlefront 2. If you do remember, on that map there are these little areas where you can actually go inside and fight inside of these little caves, I guess you could say, in Geonosis, which I think is going to be a really nice little cool thing to see inside of the mock. I feel like you're walking on the side little profile, but we're going to be working on that a little bit later, as well as this trench area, which I have kind of mapped out with some plates kind of going underneath a little bit more. But again, we're going to be continuing to work on that. But if you're ever building a big mock and you want to get an idea of how like the landscape and the height's going to go, I kind of highly suggest building this way, just to get a basic idea, and then you can start moving forward either way. But the first thing I did was start to build the actual hill section, which was just sloping out a bunch of different wedge pieces and tiles to get an idea of the different layering, which was kind of confusing for a little bit because my tables are not exactly level, so I have to make sure everything is even up, and something I definitely want to get moved forward is getting new tables. But as you can see here, I began layering out different medium nougat sections, and this medium nougat section right here, which as the first kind of iteration I wanted to do is just kind of this larger medium nougat section, but I wasn't quite happy with it. As you'll see later on, it's quite flat and smooth. So I decided to work on that a bit more, but we'll see that in a second where I really change it, because it was a little too flat as you see there, and it kind of matches the other sections I've done, but I wanted to make it a little more mountainous. But I also created this little crater here where I'm going to be including a lot more explosions and battle damage going more on into the mock, since we're getting more into the battlefield area. Just have those little ice cream pieces coming out. I think it's a nice little effect. It does the job well done. As you can see here, I've built up this section way more. I kind of didn't film too much of it, but I built this up with a lot more different slopes and pieces, where it's much more substantial, and I'm quite proud of it. But that will definitely lead into the cave section. As well as I worked a little bit more on the trench. I didn't get too much done on the trench, but I have a basic idea of how I want it to look based off, again, Battlefront 2 and doing trenches for my Battle of Kashyyyk mock. I'm quite experienced, I feel like, with doing some of these trenches, even though they're going to be quite different. But let's check out the completed or semi-completed section of this hill portion that I think is going to add a lot to the mock here. Which, as you can see, there's like different elevations going up. not just all flat, because I want to continue to kind of add more variation in the terrain moving forward, not just all flat Geonosis terrain, which I'm quite happy with the explosion and the large, medium, medium rise section to give a little more elevation and interest to the MOC. There is the bit of the terrain that we worked on for the trench area. Definitely gonna be a big interest going forward, is working on a bunch of different trenches, so y'all be ready for that. Then I continued to work on, again, the Battlefront 2 cave system, which I think will be a really fun thing once I'm all said and done. But I have the basic layout of exactly how it's going to look like, with the little, like, I don't know, like little mound of rock in the middle, which is definitely iconic to the both of the different caves in Battlefront 2. And this will connect with the back section. I just don't have enough table space just yet, so it's just these 2 base plates sitting right here on top of the MOC, but it will be continued to be built going forward. But this is just the basic layout of the little cave system. Now, as for the other side of the build, where it's going to be much different going into the more mountainous terrain of Geonosis, I built out a lot of, again, these 16x16 plates, just getting the area flat. And as you can see, there's a little doorway where I think Jedi Bob is going through. I'm not exactly going to go through what we're going to build here, because we're going to be really focused on that on later episodes, but it's going to be quite exciting. Going to be lots of rock work and stuff like that, but it'll be matched into the idea of making it based on Battlefront 2 and Attack of the Clones, but it'll be cool. But this section over here is the far left area of the MOC, where it has the more kind of trenched area going through the side. And I continue to build that a little bit with adding more terrain work, but this area will be, again, the focal point of the next episode, fully filling this out, these next couple base plates here on the end that kind of complete this first kind of section that we did with the MOC, with connecting to the mountain over here. So I'm really happy with all this. I added some battle droids and the homing spider droid as well, not the dwarf spider droid, the homing spider droid, which really looks cool. I think I'm going to build at least 1 or 2 more of these custom ones from Brick Vault onto the MOC, because they definitely add a lot to the droids here. But that is basically everything. I've kind of mashed up what I've been working on the past little bit on this Geonosis break, but trust me, going forward, I have a lot to work to do, so there's going to be tons of progress on this massive Geonosis MOC moving forward, because I'm going to be trying to finishing up at least this section by February, and then moving forward, there's going to be a ton of stuff for phase 2 of this build. But guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below which section you want me to work on next in particular, and what you're most excited about for this month. But I'll see y'all next time. Have a good day. Bye-bye.